Which email did you send it from? I'll look it up here.
I sent it to you. Isn't it J?
Mm-hmm. And which one did you send it from? As I can search your email.
Huh?
Which email did you send from? As I'll just search for that.
My email?
Yep.
I sent it from the Central State.
So how does that start?
TGRACESAWYR.CSU@centralstate.edu.
Okay, let's see if that. They put y'all's middle name in them now too.
I have 2 last names.
Okay, is there any hyphens or is it so TGRACE? And it's like a link, right? So this one.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, then I'll forward it to here so I can get it on there. And then you can go. Was anybody else doing your observation today? Okay. Let's send it to that one, and it should just pop up down here if it works today. So now you can go.
Thanks.
There it is.
My project was so basically me and my friends, we went to Cedarville University. It's 11 minutes away. Main Street. It's on Main Street from Central State University to the Chick-fil-A, and how do I change it? Do I just tap on it?
Yep. Yeah. I don't know if it's touch screen though. That might be the one. You may have to go. Let's see here.
Did you do the slide?
Sure.
The slideshow?
If it lets us. So you did the Chick-fil-A over there. That was any good? Did they cook it right, or is it pretty bad?
The sandwich was good, but the fries were cold, and the milkshake was runny.
That's not good. That's not good. Did you guys all go? Did you? It might not want to do a slideshow. Are you okay just presenting off of that?
Yeah, that's fine. My expectations, I thought we were just gonna get in and get out, like just, I thought it would be faster considering. But then again, I'm from Columbus, so the Chick-fil-A's there. There's a whole line wrapped around, so I should have figured that out. Maybe some of the students would say hi or welcome. I didn't know that. Well, first I didn't know that it was a Christian school, and I didn't know that it was a Caucasian school either. So it was kind of weird, like
it's different.
But if you travel on trips to go visit colleges, they like greet you and stuff. But we wouldn't have no problems or anything. My experience.
Is that this one?
Yeah. Yep. I felt kind of out of place. The line that we were in, they let other people go before us. So they had 2 lines. They had a line here to where you can, like if you had your car, I forgot what their mascot is called, but it's their bucks. And then they had this line over here for like people that had cash and stuff. But this line over here, we were like staying there for the longest, and we were supposed to technically be up next, but she chose the other line instead. And then they kept going and going until she finished. Then she came back to us.
Oh boy.
They messed up my order. They messed up the names. Actually, they had my friend's order, but they never called it out. And then they like kind of had it sitting there, so we were waiting on her food just for it to sit there, and then it was all cold and stuff. And they were about to close as well, so they were trying to rush and get everybody going. Overview. I feel weird in our university with a whole bunch of eyes. They were kind of, it kind of felt weird a little bit. I feel like it should have because there was a few of the black people there that went to that school, but they were kind of like mixed in all the way. So the fact that like that happened, I kind of felt weird out. And the clothes that we were wearing like different stuff, but then they have like sports gear and like khaki clothing. And I didn't like the whole waiting and them going in front of us, but like that was kind of rude. And then the lady, she kind of got rude with my friend because she was saying like her food is cold, and so yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Like those of you? Yeah.
Not really a question, but like related, because we went like 2 weeks ago, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of like the same thing. Like they had my order, but they waited a long time.
Hmm.
I asked them, yeah.
Really?
I had to go up there and ask them, did they give my order? And then the whole time they had it.
So do they do mobile orders like that where they like, you type it in and then you go and pick it up?
I'm pretty sure they probably do.
I don't know. But
Oh, they do
close
have
early.
DoorDash. Huh.
They
I
close
want-
early, and then they like sometimes they'll call out your name, or they might get your name wrong, or they kind of have it just sitting there, and then they kind of get upset when you go up to them and ask them like, "Hey, did you call my name out?" And they'll be like, "Just a second," and then they'll go to somebody else, and then they don't come back to you. So it's kind of frustrating, but overall, it's
Do they have, you said DoorDash, so do they just like set it somewhere? You know how like a lot of them have like the shelf and they set it there and just leave it?
Usually places like that, you'll probably have to go up to them and show them that you have a DoorDash. And they have DoorDash stickers, so they'll know which one is.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys are going to present on too, I guess?
Kind of.
Okay, I mean, you could do something else to it.
I don't think I'll go back there again.
What's that?
I don't think I'll go back there again.
Oh, yeah, it's one of the closest ones, so,
It is, but I don't think it's worth it.
right.
Their shakes were all watery,
Ew.
and it was warm.
I was wondering, could you DoorDash from there? Would that be helpful? Like, if you,
But then if I DoorDash, is the same thing going to happen with the food?
the
It's gonna be
shakes,
cold.
nasty, yeah, okay. How did you want to get yours? Is it a thumb drive, or do you have?
No, I turned it in through Pulse, but I also emailed it to you as well.
Okay. What is the name of our Pulse one? Like, what's the website? That's what I never know. Is that like? I guess just global.central.edu. If it lets us log in here. So, and then yours, you email, make sure to just turn it in on D2L, if that makes sense, so that I get a notification to grade it. Let's just go there. Does the website ever go down? Looks like it takes a while to load. Well, some fast food restaurants, I heard they're also experiencing supply chain issues. Have you guys heard this? Like I went to a Chipotle and they didn't have the lids for your guacamole or the hot sauce. They just put like foil over top, which is probably fine for guacamole, but hot sauce like spills out. Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of crazy for Chipotle wise, is because when we went in there to go order, they said that you can't, like they only take card and not cash.
Oh, the Chick-fil-A only takes cash?
No, the Chipotle.
Oh, Chipotle at that university?
No, the one that's yeah, it's down the street.
Really?
Yeah. It's on your right.
Huh? They only take cards.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know that. Okay. That is weird. So they just basically turned you guys away.
Yeah.
How else do you pay? Like, can you order it on the app and do
Oh, they
like?
don't have, that's another thing, they don't have like the app thing where you can order on there, like with your card, or they can bring it to you. Yeah.
I guess they're all franchises, so they can do what they want, but that still is weird. Did you turn in this bottom one, the field observation presentation? Okay. Cool. And then how do you know your last name? Okay. Cool. It's at least a PDF. It might not be a PowerPoint. D2L is kind of slow. Have you guys noticed that? Like it's still loading. Maybe it's our internet, but maybe it's D2L. Is there anywhere else to download it from? I could try to go from here if it doesn't work, and then just email it to myself again. So anybody who's still doing yours, do you have questions about the observation presentation? I'm gonna try to download it here in case nothing works. I might even use a hotspot on my phone. Let's see here. Okay, there it is. So you guys are the afternoon class. Everybody get registered in time so you get your money? Are they lying about the money? That's what I was wondering. Seriously. It just seems too good to be true. Like, hey, just register and we'll give you $1,000. Here you go. Oh, it opened. Okay, never mind. So go ahead.
So I did my field observation on Walmart and Xenia down the street. It's approximately like 17 minutes, I think, from campus. Yeah. So I said the objective is students are to find a location or place where they are the minority. Students are to list out what they think may occur because they are different and not from around said location. After their experience, students are to list out what actually happened and then their overall thoughts. Like I said, I did it at Walmart and Xenia down the street.
And notice their address. Hospitality Drive. So they're supposed to be hospitable.
Interesting. So I just went in there to grab just last minute groceries that I needed for the dorm. So really I wasn't in there very long. I was just kind of in and out. My expectations were to be stared at, followed, rude facial expressions, longer waiting time for me, and either bad or no service, and I thought I would be treated differently.
And that's not the cell phone service, no service. You were thinking.
Just also like if I needed help around the store or anything like that.
Okay.
So what actually happened, I was stared at from other customers and some workers. When it came to like respect and just treating me like a normal human being, I guess I got more so 50-50. Some were rude and walked in front of my cart when I was trying to shop without saying excuse me or being polite. And others, they said excuse me and were like, oh, excuse me, we didn't mean to walk past you or anything like that. I was greeted when I walked in and out of the store. And then also I had appropriate wait time and a respectful helper because I needed something. A shirt didn't have a tag on it, so she found it in the system and we had a decent conversation.
Oops. So one more.
So my overall takeaway from the experience, I said the experience went better than I anticipated. There were minor instances of rude workers or customers, such as staring or being cut off while shopping. But personally, I expected for the area for it to be worse, actually, because just either hearing from other people how their experience went, and sometimes even myself going, people can be very rude. Individuals have their their predetermined views on how they expect me or individuals that look like me to act. However, this doesn't define me or anyone else person. And then that was it.
Thank you. Any questions? Have you all gone to Walmart? Everybody here been there? Is it ever good or okay or normal?
It's fun when you like their person. You just feel like a whole man. He's so nice. I don't know if you guys think that. I like him.
Right. Yeah, I guess it depends on
It
everybody.
depends, like, how much people you go with also, because the bigger the group, the worse it is.
Right. Oh, that's true. Yeah. If they see you as like a large group, I didn't think about that because I always go to stores by myself and I cruise in. But if you're sharing a ride, if everybody has to pay for a car there, you probably would want to fit as many into the car as you can, which makes sense. Anybody else going today? Okay. Any questions for when you do go in the next couple of weeks? Cool. Well, that is kind of where we're at. Now, this homelessness, poverty, and unemployment we're getting into here, it has the last census. They should have our new census coming out here soon. There are going to be some changes, but basically poverty in 2010, we had 1 out of 7 people in the United States are in poverty. So that's 15%. Here's a question for you guys. Why do you think a high percentage of the poor are children, female-headed households, and non-white families? The children one always gets me because they have no control over it at all, in a sense. You know what I mean? They can't get a job. Some say that female jobs pay a little less than male jobs, even if you're doing the same thing. So that's like one research study that could add to the poverty piece. And then most who are employed, this is something you don't expect at all. Most who are poor are employed full time. So you could be working 40 hours a week and still look at the stats. Well, it's one slide after this. In social work, we have 2 theories. One is first you want to judge the person, you blame the individual for impoverishment. It's a culture of poverty. You didn't work hard enough, or you didn't apply for enough jobs, or you don't work enough jobs. You should have 6 jobs instead of 5 jobs. Or you hold society responsible for conditions that create poverty. I was going to ask you guys, which one of these 2 do you think it is? But it can actually be a mixture of both. So it really can be all of the above if you were to get that question. It is society responsible for the conditions. If you've noticed in the news, we're having more stuff about shortages, inflation, and missing items. Even Walmart, I don't know if Walmart had empty shelves, but it's getting there. A lot of them are getting worse. So in social work, we emphasize empowerment. So it's an empowerment-oriented support to gain self-sufficiency. So we want to empower somebody to empower themselves to get out of the hole. Here's the numbers. And another question for you guys, why do you think it's that much more in Alaska and then in Hawaii to live? You're in poverty if you make $11,000 as an individual, or in Alaska, you're still in poverty even if you make $13,000, almost $14,000. In Hawaii, if it's 12 for one person. For 2, it's 15. Here in Ohio in the lower 48. For 3 people, it's 19, and for 4, it's 23,000. But in Alaska, it's 28,000. Why do you guys think it's that much more in either Alaska or Hawaii? And has anybody ever been to Alaska or Hawaii? I've never been to Hawaii. I have been to Alaska, and it's really far away. It almost touches the border of Russia. You fly and fly and fly and fly and fly. And that's how far they have to ship milk and food. And starting right now in Alaska, and maybe some parts of Russia, until December, you get more and more darkness to where you have 24 hours of darkness. In Alaska, it's dark 24 hours a day. There's no sunshine because they're in the Arctic Circle up on top of the Earth. I went there in the summertime where they have 24 hours of daylight. So it's light all day. I was in one part of Alaska where the sun set halfway and then it came back up. It's so weird. Like you see it go halfway down and then it comes back up because it's on the top of the planet. And that's why it's expensive. It's hard to grow food. It gets cold. They can grow food there, but not as much. And then you have to ship everything like through Canada and like overseas to the islands of Hawaii, which is really far away. And so it costs more to live there. It's just expensive to buy anything. And then lower 48 is cheaper, but the big cities are expensive. So there's a few things I pulled up this morning that I wanted to get into. And one of them was, has anybody heard stuff about the cost of goods in general? And this adds to poverty. This is why I'm bringing this up. We did some stuff on street trafficking, but there was the supply chain issues videos. Supposedly, the president said we could have it through Christmas. So, like, if you want to get Christmas presents, they're like, get them now because we probably won't have anything. I was like, what? So, here's some of the stuff that's going on. Any of these videos standing out to you guys? There's a lot of strikes. So, I don't know if you guys have heard this. People are protesting the vaccine. And since they don't want to get the vaccine, the truckers that are requiring the vaccine are just laying them off, saying, all right, you're not vaccinated, we're not going to let you drive. So, like, everybody's shut down. You see the port of Los Angeles, and this video shows a good description of it. A lot of
the supply chain crisis seeming to get worse each day. The ports are clogged with ships filled with goods and supplies. The transportation issues on shore are grinding deliveries to a halt. ABC's Phil Lipoff is in Port Elizabeth, New Jersey, with the efforts to get things moving again before the holidays. Phil, good morning.
Good morning to you. Economists are describing a snowball effect here. You have pandemic-related worker shortages, then you have long wait times for cargo coming from overseas. Here at home, you have cargo ships piling up at ports, and now this trucker shortage.
This morning, supply chain bottlenecks are affecting the world's economic recovery and are expected to get worse in the coming days and months. Shifter backlog, and now a looming trucker shortage. The American Trucking Association estimates prior to the pandemic, the industry was short 60,000 drivers. That number only increased with retirements and not being able to train new drivers because trucking schools have closed.
19 or 18 months back, everything shut down. People really off, and nothing was flowing. Getting things from ships onto trucks onto full freight to half freight. Those transition points are where we are seeing gaps.
Prices and wait times are up. Small businesses taking a big hit. For the owner of one apparel business, it is a race against the clock for seasonal items.
We're seeing delays. I'm seeing delays in 2 months, month and a half, 2 months. So that really, really is putting me up against the wall.
About 40% of all U.S. imports come through Southern California's ports. Right now, loaded cargo containers stacked on ships are bobbing off the coast of Los Angeles and Long Beach. Big retailers are chartering their own ships to stock shelves for the holidays. The pandemic affecting every link in the supply chain. Already, Americans are paying more for eggs and meat, both costing 12% more than just a year ago.
Even if you're not buying or selling anything to a consumer, and because of that, the supply chain and see the effect of it.
This year has seen record-breaking price jumps for children's shoes, up nearly 12%. Furniture up more than 11%. Even going out to dinner will cost you an unprecedented 5.2% more than last year.
We got to catch up.
President Biden trying to ease the burden by asking companies to work together and ports to work around the clock, trying to fix the backlog and pause inflation, already up 5.5%.
Retail sales rose more than expected, 0.7%. That's according to the Census Bureau. So on one hand, that could mean a resilient consumer. On the other hand, it could mean that consumers just paying more for goods because of inflation. Victor?
All right, Phil, thank you.
What?
So that's another aspect that really affects the poverty piece because if you guys saw, we're getting that. My wife got a letter in the mail that you get $1,500 if you register for classes by Friday or whatever. I hope they're not lying about it, but when they're putting out that much, and we got checks last year, we get a $300 child tax credit every 15th of the month. So they're giving you your tax credit up front. It tells me that like the money that you're getting and paying for things with is not enough. It's not enough to buy goods with. So here's some homeless facts, some of the misconceptions and myths that it's either caused by mental illness or drug abuse. That's true, but maybe only 10 to 20% of the cases. Another myth is that shelter space is available. During the winter, a lot of our shelters fill up quickly. And those are some of the internships you guys could do when you do your junior and senior year internships at homeless shelters or at a drug and alcohol rehab. Another one is that homeless persons are unemployed, and you see dozens of documentaries where there's people that work full-time, 40 hours a week, and they're still homeless or can't live in a house, pay for a house, pay for an apartment. And then also that the government programs are sufficient. So we already see this year and last year, the programs aren't sufficient because they've had to send extra money out to everybody. Like they're not just sending it to like people on welfare. They're sending money to everybody because nobody can afford to live at the current rate of inflation. Some other homeless facts. We have the populations are at risk. Why do you guys think if you're in a domestically violent relationship, you're at risk for homelessness? Yeah.
Have violence at home, the only way to escape is go somewhere else, and you don't have a place, you're going to the streets.
Yes. Yes, so that's another internship we have is at Women Helping Women. So at this agency, downtown Xenia, they help folks that are trying to get away from a domestically violent relationship. And it's correct. Sometimes you have to leave in order to be safe. You're not safe in your home. Another one is mental illness can make it hard to keep a job or stability. So you're at risk for homelessness. Substance use disorders, that's another one that comes up because sometimes you get trapped in addiction and spend all your money on something instead of rent. And so all your money is gone. And then also veterans. Why do you guys think veterans are at high risk? Yeah.
Like PTSD, things like that, or like something could happen to them in war that they don't have the ability to do.
Yeah.
They come out from war.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So if you are fresh out of Afghanistan and you come home this year or last year and there was so many layoffs because of the pandemic, it's hard to find a job as a normal person or with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and now other things that come up. Hello. Also, and I'll kind of finish up with these slides because I want to give you guys a chance who didn't do your field observation yet to kind of check in with that and make sure to complete your field observation like what was presented at the beginning of class. But with social work and homelessness, here's the things we try to do as social workers. We try to ensure affordable and adequate housing. And that's everywhere. Apparently we're up to millions of houses and apartments short for affordable housing, like all over the nation. And we have a large influx of immigrants, so that's even going to double the need for housing. We have so many people just sleeping under bridges in Texas on the border. We also advocate for housing subsidies, so if prices do get so high, to ask for sometimes a government subsidy until somebody can get a job. Also to strengthen the continuum of housing, income assistance, and income support services. So as a social worker, we try to continue to advocate for people to get all of these services. Also funding prevention programs, so domestic violence prevention, addiction prevention services, alcoholism prevention, and other programs that offer prevention education, and then also job training. So we want to make sure to train folks for either a higher paying job or a job in general if they have not been trained on how to enter the workforce. And finally, to promote living wages. So if the money that we have is not paying for what we're trying to buy with food, housing, shelter, either advocating for a raise increase or ways to strengthen the dollar so that it is strong enough to buy everything that you need. So we'll start on this second half of the presentation next class. But with social work, we believe in the human rights and social justice. So because homelessness is linked to economic factors such as lack of affordable housing, poverty and low income, and then also social issues such as substance abuse, mental illness, and domestic violence, we offer programs for prevention of those. The poverty piece, as we mentioned, more people are experiencing poverty than ever before. And we see that in some of these supply chain issues. So one that was interesting, because those who are dependent on, we do a lot of food in our grade schools. Not as big as India, where India, they feed 600 million people every day with school lunches. We might only feed about 100 million. So India is way bigger than we are. But now the supply chains are starting to affect those enrolled in these programs. So this was
the supply chain crisis taking a toll now on school cafeterias. Schools nationwide struggling to feed students as they face delays and shortages on everything from chicken to lunch trays. Jeff Flock is at a school outside Philadelphia right now with more. Jeff, good morning to you.
Maria, good morning to you from an on location. We're at the loading dock at Ridley High School in Folsom, Pennsylvania, where they're awaiting a delivery as we speak. Mitra Barrios runs food service for 5,000 students. It's a daily battle.
Yes, daily battle. We're hoping that deliveries arrive so that we don't have to adjust our menu to ensure that our students receive meals.
Maria says everything from chicken to the plates that you serve in them.
Serving trays, 5-compartment trays are hard to get right now.
I was going to say, here, this is what it looks like, Maria, a 5-compartment tray. You think that's not important. But if you try to serve food to a kindergartner on a paper plate, what happens?
Catastrophe all over the ground, applesauce, it's just kids crying, and we need it to be easy for them to hold, and these simple items we can't source.
What do you do? I understand you go to actually the grocery stores when you don't get your delivery and buy it at a grocery store.
Grocery stores, large warehouse suppliers, and get whatever we can get our hands on to make it happen for our students to receive meals.
Demetrius been going in her own vehicle to like you go to the Costco or you go to the whatever. That costs a lot more. How do you pay for it?
2 or 3 times more. We're hoping that at some point we're able to receive more reimbursements to subsidize that difference in the increase of goods right now.
Supply chain everywhere. Cups. And lids, oh, those are lids, I guess. This is the cups, right? Yeah, there you go. Everything is in short supply these days, Maria. And, kids need their nutrition.
They do, and we're here to provide it. So hopefully we continue to receive deliveries. They come on a regular basis, and they have the items that we need.
Spin around there, I don't know, Tyler, maybe the truck will show up that they're waiting for this morning. I think it's bread you're waiting for.
We are waiting for our bread delivery.
That's the latest from the nation's schools.
Wow.
Not just here in Pennsylvania, as you point out, Maria, everywhere across the country. Problems.
Wow, that is incredible. Please thank her for her efforts. This is a crisis that is worsening. Jeff Flock, thank you. Great reporting, Jeff.
So some of the programs that we have to alleviate poverty aren't really because of cost increases, prices, inflation. They're starting to struggle too. So these are some of the things to consider. If you guys see shelves like this at Walmart, there's empty shelves. It just, some said like if you are a Christmas shopper to like do it right now. I don't know if you guys buy Christmas presents. Does everybody here do Christmas, or is that a weird thing to do? Is Christmas like only a Cincinnati thing? So they're saying buy your gifts now. Like in November and December, it might be hard to find stuff that's, and when it is affecting the food programs, the school lunches, like in this video, different things of that nature. Those are the exact programs we're setting up, for prevention, hunger prevention, other social issues prevention. So I wanted to finish up a little early today. So those of you who haven't done your field observation can get a start on it and get your PowerPoints going for the next few classes. And so that's all I've got today. Sign-in sheet might be over.
What's the social application thing?
The social work application?
Yeah, I was put out like gotta start doing it.
Yeah, you can. What